Hello, everyone. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to Crew Talk, brought to you by Shoot Stop Video. I'm your host for this evening, Sarah Marintz, and it's been a few weeks, so I'm glad to be back with all of you today. We have a production panel from Arizona. And so today we have Bill, Dan, Jason, and Bear with us. Hey, guys. Thanks for being here.
Hi, how's it
And
going?
I'm going to go through one by one and have you kind of introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about what you do. But first, for everyone tuning in, if you have any questions or thoughts throughout this webcast, feel free to drop them in the question and answer box, the Q&A box, and we will definitely get to them before the webcast ends. So anyway, on with the show. Bill, you're first on my screen, so I'm just going to have you say who you are, where you are, and a little bit about what you do.
Okay, well, my name is Bill Searle. I have a company called Joya Productions. I've been doing freelance video for, probably close to 20 years here. When I started out, I just got a degree in SCC in film and video, and I went out looking for jobs and didn't really find much. And so I thought, well, I'm just going to do my own thing. So I started doing that. I did some TV ads. The very first TV ad I did, it was just when cable was a little more fashionable than it is now. And the first TV I did was for a guy. I did a trade for somebody restoring my car. It was a 67 Mustang. I still have it, but in any case, he did the paint job and decked it out. And at first, it was really looking terrible. And I started out the ad with my car. I love my car, but it looks like crap. And that got a lot of attention for him. And so that's how I started with TV ads. I did a few of those. I did some sports stuff and some video depositions. I did a little bit of that sort of thing. That's where, they have you shoot stuff for courts. And that went pretty well. It was kind of interesting. I had one where a guy was accused of racketeering and all that sort of stuff back east. And we interviewed their neighbors and talked about what wonderful people that he was, what a wonderful guy he was. So I've done that. I did a TV show. I didn't do it. I was the DP and the editor for a TV show called Arizona Country Television about a few years back, and I worked with a producer who was he was interested in doing a TV show. He'd been in the TV business back in New York in the '60s. And he wanted to do a TV show about Arizona and about the whole Western lifestyles and all the cowboy stuff and all that kind of thing. And so we did a show called Arizona Country TV. And he went through the money before we actually got it on the air. But we shot 5 spec shows. It was very interesting, and it was a lot of fun. I worked with Bobby Jean Olson, who does some stunt. It was a stunt rider, from what I understand, and she was our host for this.
Oh, wow. So it sounds like you've done a little bit of everything.
Yeah, I've done a wide variety of things. I've also done some corporate videos, of course, and it's just a wide variety of things. It's mostly been me as a one-man operation. Every once in a while, I have people helping me, but most of the time, I'm just working by myself, kind of, doing the lighting and everything. So,
well, we're glad to have you here. I have a lot of questions about the court TV stuff that we'll come back around to at some point.
Okay.
So start thinking about all those fun stories. I'm sure you have some.
Yeah.
But next on my screen, we have Dan. Hey, Dan. You're muted, Dan.
There we go.
There you go.
That's a good way to start right off the bat. So yeah, I did pretty much all of those things that he did. I worked, all right, maybe I don't have that deep of a background. I also went to SCC, so I knew I liked this guy right away. And when I graduated from SCC, I was still working for Fox, and I'd been with them for about 10 years. Not Fox News, just to clarify. And when I left that and started my own little company, it went surprisingly well. And things really started to grow, and I was getting excited about the direction that the company was taking. And then COVID hit, and I was unsure of my future direction, but somehow we sustained our way through that. And now I do a lot of stuff for local companies. PXG is one that I shoot for quite a bit, which is here in town. And yeah, my goal is to have my feature at least in pre-production by this time next year. And so here's hoping I can get that script finalized, which is, me and everyone else. So
Good
yeah,
luck with that.
thanks.
Well, very cool. Well, thank you for joining us today. And next we have Jason. Hey, Jason.
Hey, I'm Jason Ryan. I'm the owner of Psychic Flying Monkey Productions, and I'm a cinematographer and director. And I started with action sports videos, BMX videos specifically. Went to film school and just started getting more and more into it, phasing into this industry. And so now I make music videos. So I direct and DP music videos, stuff for TV, commercials, promos, short films, feature films, narratives, documentaries. I've had my stuff is aired on TBS, either stuff that I've shot or DP'd or directed. So TBS, PBS, Food Network, Fuel TV, Spike TV, Oxygen, Cowboy Channel, Great American Country, CMT Digital, MTV Digital. And then I've had films, and as far as film festivals, I've had films, well over 100 films that I've either DP'd or directed worldwide in festivals.
So you stay pretty busy.
Yep.
Very cool. Well, thanks for being here with us. And last but not least, Bear.
Hey guys, Bear Prandelli with Wolf and Bear Media. We're a video production company here out of Phoenix, mostly specializing in a lot of corporate and commercial stuff, but we've also kind of worked with quite a big range of clients in different industries. So I got started with this. I went to school for broadcast and kind of more just communication stuff. So I was working in like local news and just sports events, things like that, doing a lot of grip work, gaff work, anything like that. And then in 2017, moved to Phoenix. I was living in Maine before that for 5 years during college. Went to Hudson University, moved out to Phoenix, and my brother Wolf came out and joined me, and we started the company. So Wolf and Bear, henceforth the two names. So we really started out kind of not knowing what direction we wanted to go. So we've just kind of taken on a lot of work from everywhere. And I think as it's started to come together, we've focused in a lot more on, working with really good product stuff, as well as doing a lot of story driven commercial work. So for a lot of the corporate clients that we have, we really try to sell them on the story. We really try to work with businesses that are more interested in story than necessarily sales, from that point of view, at least. So, yeah, that's about it for me.
Love the company name. That's super cool.
Shoots Video is a place for creatives to showcase their work and be seen by producers, marketing managers, corporate executives, and other future clients. Add your reel to Shoots Video today.
Well, thanks for being here. Yeah. And so I have my list of questions as always. I'm just going to kind of run through them, throw them out to random members of our panel here. And like we said before, if you guys want to jump in on each other's answers, that's totally cool. But Dan, it sounds like you have had like an interesting story. So can you tell us, what sparked it for you to get into production and kind of your story from the beginning?
Yeah, so I grew up in Minnesota, and I think like a lot of people developed a healthy or unhealthy obsession with film and television. And as the years went on, there was something in the back of my mind. I knew that I always wanted to be a part of it and do it, but it never seemed practical, especially in the Midwest, up north where we were. And when I graduated from high school, it was pretty jarring. Just kind of the options were like Applebee's. So I packed up my little two-door Mazda and I came out here to Arizona, and I had to kind of pick and choose what I brought. And I brought movies. That was a car full of films. And so I knew that if I was ever going to get a film made of my own and have it really mean something to me, I was going to need to, quote, start at the bottom. And I learned very quickly that that was not the case. You just sort of have to get it done. So I graduated high school, moved out here, and started attending SEC, which is the Scottsdale Film School at the time. Now it's kind of merged and become the School of Theater with the community college. But uh, I would just try to get on any set that I possibly could, whether it was a PA or helping the grips or doing anything I could. And as the months went on and the years went on, I would get better and better jobs. And I was still working, like I said, for Fox out here at the time. It was like the safe job. It was a paycheck. And I was so scared to take the leap. And I turned 30, and they threw like a surprise party for me at this place where I was working. And I was like, I missed the boat. I'm going to be with this company forever. And my sister, of all people, basically just said, like, quit, start your company and get it done. And I did. And it was the best decision that I ever made. I'm incredibly fortunate to have learned from a ton of people. And since then, I've gotten to work with like some of my idols, from Jean-Pierre Jeunet to Kaminsky to just anyone that you can think. I got to film Will Smith jumping out of a helicopter into the Grand Canyon on his birthday. That was like one of the craziest things I've ever seen. And I just can't, when I look back and think, I never imagined that it would move so quickly. But I'm 33 now, and like I said, I shoot in town a lot for a company called PXG. I also shoot for a lot of real estate companies. And then my goal right now is mostly just hiding in this house out here and trying to get this script written so that I can get this shot and made. Yeah, so that's the goal right now.
So we have your sister to thank for giving you like the push to go out and do it on your own.
I think we have my sister to thank in a general sense for most of my good qualities. She's usually the one that slaps the sense into me.
That's good.
So,
Is she the older
yeah.
sister?
She is, yes.
Older sister
So,
here. Yeah, I know.
yes, she's not much older, a few years, but she is much wiser. So, yes, we have her, and as well as my mother, of course, to thank for helping me out.
Very cool. Well, that's neat, and I'm glad that you're now on the path to doing it all on your own and working on your script. Jason, I have a question for you. Can you say the name of your company again and kind of where that came from?
It's Psychic Flying Monkey Productions. I got it from an old soundbite on an old radio station. This guy saying, it's the invisible psychic flying monkey. I thought it had a nice ring to it.
I love it. No, it's very cool, very different. I love it. So can you talk about what kind of projects you're currently working on?
Let's see. I just finished a music video. Just released it last Wednesday.
Can you tell us for who?
It's called Fishing for Love. It's for a screenwriter. It's not even a real band. Actually, I say a songwriter. He wrote it. He got a guy, really a guy who was on studio to compose the music, lay down the music, got another singer, as a vocalist. They put together a song, and then this songwriter hired me as a production company to make the video. And so I produced it, directed, DP'd it, and edited, did all posts, and just released it last Wednesday.
Oh, awesome. You can like find it on YouTube, I'm assuming.
Yep. Fishing for Love.
Cool. And can you kind of talk us through your journey from the beginning?
Yeah. Started action sports. Well, actually, I'm a BMX rider. So I started out riding BMX. Been doing that since I was 12. And then at one point, rider made videos became a big thing. First, little production companies were putting stuff together. There's some BMX on TV. This was back in the 80s. And then riders started making their own videos. So I got interested in that a few years after riders had made some videos and had some good success with it. And got a video camera, and 97 was my first one. I just got more and more into it. After that, made a full-length BMX video. It was distributed nationally. I made a second one that's distributed internationally. And then just like production so much, so I decided to keep going. Went to film school, went to SEC, like a lot of these guys. Really learned a ton. I always recommend film school to people. Learned a ton there, made great connections, made great pieces, made my first music videos there. And so starting out was able to put together a good reel, starting right out of film school. And then, so I've been freelance. I've also done some corporate staging stuff, done quite a bit of that, actually, as I was doing everything else. So whatever, stuff for TV, documentaries, stuff directly for clients, commercials, promos. It's a flexible, doing corporate staging is flexible. And still working with lighting, video, all that kind of stuff. So I got great opportunities to do that, like shooting CeeLo Green, Jordan Sparks, the band Train, operating camera on them. So I could add to my credits, but ultimately it's kind of a corporate thing, and I preferred doing really kind of film and TV freelance. And so it's basically ended since the beginning of 2020 was my last corporate gig. I've been able to do freelance film and TV ever since.
That's awesome. And so 2020, obviously, the pandemic affected everybody. And this is usually a hot topic when we ask people about how they kind of got through, like what the beginning of COVID looked like for your business and kind of how you got through it. Did you branch off and do something else that now you do? So, Bear, I'll throw it to you. How did surviving the pandemic go for you guys?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think like everybody, we had the uncertainty in the beginning of like what the hell is going on, and to what extent is this going to affect our industry? What new rules are going to be put in place, and how is that going to change the way that we have to go about production? I think, first off, we got a well-deserved vacation to go visit our mom for 2 months while everything was completely shut down, so we can't totally complain. But we kind of found, like many, we had to obviously look out to what the different options were in terms of, the SBA loans and just making sure that we had stuff to get us through. I think we took a look at what do we have to downsize, what was absolutely necessary, and also are there parts of a process, people that we're contracting that, we want to keep relationships, and ones that maybe are too expensive that right now we can't afford. So there was a lot of that kind of talk going on. Ultimately, we went from, having a warehouse space that we were utilizing maybe 25% of the time to being like, no, we can just do this all out of our home office. We don't have to have, a brick and mortar facility to do what we do. So that's kind of some of the stuff that we dealt with. I will say, being in Arizona, I feel like we were a little bit spoiled because as soon as we took off in the summer when COVID kicked in, and then came back right in August towards the end of it. And things were already starting to kind of, get back into place in Arizona. So I know that on the East Coast and like New York and LA and a lot of production cities, things got shut down pretty hard. I feel like we were insulated in Arizona from that a little bit. Because really, come August, we were like back in action, and moving again. We really kind of managed to keep that going through this past year too. And especially the past few months, it's felt like really crazy. Like things have been super busy.
I was going to ask, do things kind of feel back to normal, and like what protocols are still in place?
I would honestly say, at least for where we are, I would say that our business actually kind of blossomed through COVID, and now where we're at now, we are busier than we ever have been. We were definitely still very much in kind of the startup, knowing how to shoot, but not knowing how to run a business point. When COVID was kicking in, we were starting to work on some bigger projects, we were starting to get bigger clients. But we knew how to shoot. We didn't really know how to operate a business. And a lot of the things that we kind of learned through this process was how to do a lot of that. So for us, where we're standing, it was almost kind of just like, okay, what's happening? And then all of a sudden we start coming out of it. And it's just been like that for us, which has been awesome. But I don't know how it's been for a lot of others. I know that for other production companies in town that work that we know on a personal level, they've kind of been in the same basket. It's like after we started to come out of all the lockdowns, it's just been a consistent, it's getting busier and busier and busier and busier.
That's what we find so many people on the panels, no matter what the topic is, area, that, you kind of figured out how to navigate COVID and quarantine. And like the lockdown and everything, but then once things started opening up, it is just like boom, busier than ever.
Yeah. I think it also helped that for most of our shoots, even when we're working with certain bigger clients, like the scale of our shoots isn't usually huge. So we're usually working with maybe a couple models or people within a company, but it's on a smaller size. It's not huge sets. We're not having to rent big sound stages and have an enormous crew. So it helped for us that most shoots, it was like, okay, just take the precautions we need to take and we're good. Like we're not working with huge groups of people. So I think that was kind of in our benefit too, because we were able to fit in a lot of stuff that, if we were kind of a little bit bigger, it might have been harder, it might have been a lot more work to pull off.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. Bill, how about you? How did it all kind of?
Well, yeah, I was on a pretty good roll once before COVID hit, and then everything kind of shut down. Fortunately, I had a studio at the time at what is now the late great Paradise Valley Mall. They tore it down, but before at that time it was there, and I had a studio there. And basically, I found a customer that he had a, I don't want to call it. It was he had a business where he had to communicate with a lot of salespeople that he had. And in order to do that, he used to have conventions all over the country, but he couldn't do that anymore. So he decided the way he got to communicate with his people is through video. And I was shooting videos for him of him making his speeches and what he usually does at these conventions so that, he can keep in touch with his people. And I got a lot of business out of that. And that was a little bit of my saving grace there as far as that goes. So anyhow, and they kept the studio. It was interesting. Even during the lockdown, the studio was kept open. It's kind of a little funny. It's a little bit of a funny thing here. He said that my landlord said that because we had a nonprofit in there that he couldn't close. And so even though I wasn't connected with the nonprofit, I could get in and have and use my studio. Was I 100% legal? I really don't know. He said that they were very vague about that sort of stuff. So he said, just do your thing, So that's what I did. Basically I got enough business out of that sort of thing to kind of keep myself in a little bit of a holding pattern and through the whole thing.
Well, it was nice. You got to kind of sneak by there for a little bit.
I guess I did sort of sneak by. I just kind of wandered in. Nobody said I couldn't do it, so I went ahead and did it.
Nice. Hey, you make it work. We have a question in the chat box, and it's from Kate. And anyone can kind of take this. So, can you tell the small business owners in the audience ways they can use video to reach out to new clients? Who wants to take it?
I'll take that. I go on so many websites where they don't have video. Videos. I mean, I actually wrote up a little thing, one of my flyers about just how powerful video is. Like these people are returning, it engages them, they stay on the website longer. One of the biggest things is to have some kind of video on your website. Some great is like a little promo, something could just be as small as a minute. Just introduce, it'll set you apart from every other competitor you have, Well,
video. People don't read anymore, and so give them a video and you can get your message to them much more effectively than just putting a lot of print. I mean, if you go to a web page and you see 3 paragraphs of print, are you going to sit there and read all that, or versus if you go to a web page and there's a nice video and it's nicely presented, and which are you more inclined to take a look at? I mean,
we've also been doing a lot of work where clients are just having us capture B-roll, and since we have relationships with like the web designers, or at least we'll develop one, we'll be in contact with them and figure out what they want. Like if you have the option to kind of communicate with them, like, hey, we don't even have like a edited video, but we have all these clips. It's like, we're, shooting B-roll to be put on different pages. So if a client's doing manufacturing, we'll do shots of their manufacturing facility and they'll put it on that one page, and it'll be like a banner at the top where it's just first thing that they see is this video that kind of outlines what the rest of the content on the page is going to support. So just, it's like you can use even just some of that footage. Like if you're having a production company come out for a shoot, we can go back through and re-edit tons of that stuff to be repurposed in different areas.
And
And I
Dan, do you
think
have
to
anything you
touch
want to
on,
add? Oh yeah, go ahead.
yeah, um, I would agree with both of those things, and I think beyond like having actual corporate footage or like things like that as examples, one of the rare examples that I never really thought would pan out, but ended up getting me one of the biggest gigs I ever had. I made a friend of mine asked to come and shoot him just playing his violin in his home, and I said, "Yeah, of course." And we shot this video, and I gave it to him, and never really thought about it again. It was just kind of a favor. And I apparently he put that onto his YouTube channel. A friend of his saw it, and she reached out to me. This would have been like a year and a half later, and it was one of those phone calls that I thought was a joke. She was like, "Is this Dan Felska?" I said, "Yeah." "You shoot video?" "I do." She said, "Did you make a violin video for David?" I said, I did." She said, "Well," and she said the words real estate. So right off the bat, I was like, "Oh, I don't know how much I want to be doing, crawling through new houses and that type of thing." But she was delightfully sweet. And I ended up sitting down and meeting with her and then shooting every piece of content for her company and I still, actually, I've been putting off the edit of her last video so that I could prepare for this, which I also didn't do. I've been using this as an excuse to not get that last video edited. So thank you for that. But yeah, it's the littlest things. I looked at that video on YouTube and I think it has like 19 views. So it's not about blowing up necessarily all the time or trying to make something viral. I think that word is super cringy, but I really agree with what both of these gentlemen said, and also just make yourself sought after as a content creator. So like everyone has an outstanding camera on their iPhone or whatever now. There needs to be a reason why people want you or your company or whoever it is to represent theirs in terms of shooting content. So whatever it was about that video with the violin and the gentleman, and I think it actually showed off the house better than it showed him. So that mistake was, beneficial to me, but it's about establishing yourself and why your content is better legitimately and not putting an asterisk on it. Like why the video that you produce, direct, shoot, whatever it may be, is legitimately of better quality, and just making that a thing. It's not necessarily about arrogance, despite the fact that's just an incredibly arrogant statement, but it's about understanding your skill set and what you can bring to the table, and making sure that the people around you, even strangers, understand that as well. So that's what gets me the clients that I get. So
Why is viral a cringy word?
I think it's for the same reason that, and man, I'm really just going to go down the snob rabbit hole here. Like,
Do it.
the reason
Go
that my
for it.
content is great, everything I do is amazing. I'm going to put on my Criterion Collection t-shirt really quick. Okay, so I think it's the same reason why there's just not a lot of great content being made right now. But you could go back and over the last 20 years and people just slept on a million great things. You're never going to make great art trying to make something for X. So if you're making something that's trying to go viral, you can put lasers and cleavage and whatever you would like in it, and it very well could go viral. But you didn't make anything great, and it's not going to sustain itself. So whether you got 1 billion clicks and you're going to milk that algorithm for a month, and then hopefully you save some money from that, that's not a grand plan. And actually, I guess this would be a good time to name drop my company. My company's called Grand Scheme Collective, because at the end of the day, my goal is to, whether I go broke or die doing it, create content that I'm legitimately proud of, even if it doesn't make me money. Fortunately, it has made me money, so yay, money. But in that same vein, I've never sat out to make a viral video. I've never sat down and thought like, I'm gonna build this Instagram account. I'm gonna make sure that my presence online is, but no, none of that matters. It's fleeting. It's gross, and it's hurting your craft. Don't worry about Instagram. Don't worry about Facebook links and Twitter followers, and none of that stuff matters, because those things will come if you make great art. Period. And you won't make great art thinking about going viral. So that's when I hear people say like, we're going to make a viral video, I crumple into a ball and I die a little bit. because it's like you probably will make a viral video and we don't need it. We need good art right now more than ever.
True.
So
Do you all agree, or do we have any opposing views on viral?
No, I couldn't agree more with that. You're preaching to the choir. Sorry, this is my brother Wolf. He's been
Hey, well, welcome.
Sorry,
Hi.
I'm starting gear back here, but I'm getting caught up because I completely agree with that. I completely agree with that.
oh man,
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, if I can add to that, I think that obviously what most clients are looking at, if you're looking at it from their perspective, is they want the recognition, they want the marketing, they want to be known, they want their product to be seen, and they want a return on their investment. But I think that what gets lost in that a lot of the time is they focus too much on the hype and they lose the story, or they lose the little touches that actually make what you're trying to do artistic versus it just being stock footage, essentially, like nice
Bingo.
stuff, Yeah. And
100%.
and most of the commercials that we've shot where we're unhappy with how it came out is because there's somebody on the team who's so hyper focused on, oh no, it has to be this because of social. And it's like, well, you just make good stuff, that will come. So I'm repeating what you're saying, but it's just like you're preaching the choir. No. I agree with you 100%.
Let social adapt to good content.
Yeah.
Like when I see people turning and doing like 9:16 video for Instagram. No. They'll adapt to the wide frame if they want it, or we'll crop. God, I'm just a real snob. But yeah, just watching like, man, this pale dude he's upset. I am not. For some reason, I said the word viral and then went on a tirade about it. I like how I brought it up.
No, it's good. It's good. Now I know I wouldn't have known that, but no, it's great. It's great.
I'm
Awesome.
not this angry all the time.
You're passionate, not angry. You're passionate.
There you go. Yes, yes.
Bill, I want to come back to something that really piqued my interest when you were doing your intro, is the Court TV stuff. Can you just kind of share with us like the craziest thing you saw when you were doing?
Well, I haven't done a lot of it, but I did a few things in it, and I had one that wasn't really Court TV. It was a guy that was involved in horse racing, and there's a certain track in Phoenix, Arizona that I'm not going to mention in this, but he decided to sue him, and he called me in for a hearing. I went in there to shoot the hearing, and the guy that was kind of in the judge position had this big sidearm on his side, and he walked up to me, looked me right in the eye when I was setting everything up, and said, "Is this absolutely necessary?" And he just stared me down when he said that, like he didn't really want me there. I said, "Well, I work for them, and so he went over and talked to them. They said cut, and I had to tear it all down and leave. After that, I did do a couple other hearings in his court, and he was pretty decent about it, and that sort of thing. There was another time and this, with the same case, I shot all these hearings for one of my clients, and he decided that he was running a horse in a race, and he was in this bitter dispute with them, and he thought the best way to keep them from giving him any trouble was to have the media follow him around. So I followed him around with the camera and shot him going through the whole process of registering his horse and everything. And he ran his horse, and it won, and then we got thrown out.
Oh, wow. That is, okay. Well,
Yeah.
wild
I
ride
thought that
there.
was a metaphor when you said he had a horse in the race. It was a literal horse.
Yeah.
He literally had a horse running in a race.
A literal horse.
He wanted to run his horse and make his money, and he wanted to get through it, and he decided the best way to keep them from harassing him when he did that was to have the media following him. When I was the media, so I went around, followed him around, and shot all this stuff. I shot his horse running across the finish line,
Or like horse paparazzi.
Yeah, it's horse paparazzi. There you go.
Well, that's pretty cool. That's very cool.
Yeah,
okay, we're gonna wait. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was going to talk about the other one. I already talked about the court ones, at least as much as I can. And so, yeah, I'll just leave it at that for right now.
Works for me. That sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, it is. It was an interesting experience doing all that stuff. Yes.
Cool. Well, I'm gonna switch gears here and talk about gear. Jason, what is your go-to piece of gear?
So I shot on everything. Shot on Red, shot on Arri Alexa, Blackmagic, Canon, Sony. I own the 4K Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera, and I love it. I've got the biggest adapter, the Metabone Speed Booster, to which I adapt my Nikon lenses. I have a set of lenses from the 60s and 70s I put together, Nikon still camera lenses. They're all manual, long focal travel for pulling focus, and it really worked well. Take the edge off the 4K, edge off 1080 if I'm shooting 1080. And so basically, I like to keep things small and light. It just takes time away on set when you're dealing with all these matte boxes and filters and stuff. So I try to do as little of that as possible. Geez, the shoot I did for MTV Digital, we had Canon C300s with just all this stuff hanging off them. Stuff we didn't really need. We had to use easy rigs in this house with low ceilings. Anybody who's used easy rigs with low ceilings knows how fun that is. And it's just like, oh, this is just not necessary. Not for this show, There's just so much stuff that people pile on their rigs, especially doing handheld that you just don't need and slows you down ultimately. So I like to keep it very light. I actually just today ordered a cage, a little very light cage for the camera, and so I can run SSD hard drives, which is a good way to go, and more space and more speed and stuff. Before I was just doing cards, CFast cards. But definitely my camera. Also, my tripod. I got a fluid head tripod. It's one of the first things I got. When I really got in to the industry, 2008. It's a Cartoni fluid head tripod focus, and it's amazing just out there, just seeing how many few people have like really good quality tripods, and it's just one of the main things you need.
Awesome. Bear and Wolf, do you guys travel with a light setup as well?
This is kind of his department because
this is definitely
more the director and gaffer, and Wolf is more the DP. We both shoot, but gear's kind of his department.
Yeah. So for us, similar to that last setup, we're rocking a Blackmagic Pocket 6K, and we have it on a tilted cage, usually on Manfrotto tripod or on a gimbal. And the gimbal that we're rocking is a Zhiyun Crane 3S, but if I'm to be honest, to anyone who's interested in getting into video, gimbal should be your last purchase, because it just creates so many more headaches in the long run, because there's so many technical difficulties that you end up getting because of them. But that's a side note. Other than that, though, what we rock for lights is man lights, and we have 260s, 200. We just got a 300.
Yeah. Usually, ideally, we try to keep everything to where, we don't have...
Fits in the car.
Yeah, we don't have a van, a lot of the stuff, unless we're doing a gear rental and renting a van, everything has to fit in my Mazda 3 hatch. So it's kind of like, okay, we have enough to go out with a pretty good lighting setup, C-stands, everything, but by the time it's all loaded in,
it's Tetris.
Like, yeah,
exactly.
It's Tetris, and you need to kind of figure out, like, okay, on every shoot, like, what's the minimum I can bring? And then do I have room for maybe a couple other things? But similar to Jason, too, like, for a long time, we've been adapting our old Sony Alpha cameras to old Canon FD lenses. Like, we love the vintage lens look. It's so much nicer. And sometimes you get, like, these incredible shots with lenses that are, 40, 50 years old that you buy for, like, $30 at a Goodwill. Yeah, sorry.
No, that's great. That's awesome. A lot of this stuff kind of like, I'm in voiceover, so like mics and stuff. But other than that, like, sounds very impressive. Dan, you look like you have a little bit of gear behind you.
I am, to be honest, I'm embarrassed because and impressed that you guys make it happen with those light setups. A lot of that is just like raw talent that I don't have. So I'm a firm believer in. I shot my very first short film with a Canon Scopic film camera. So, and if I wouldn't have had a team of people around me to like operate that, I would have probably like burned my house down. I have a a good amount of gear because I rent out a lot of the stuff when I'm not using it. And luckily I do have a van as well as a grip trailer that I'm able to utilize when I need it. For me, you know, I think I know a lot of people on a personal level that own the Blackmagic stuff. I've never shot on one. I had a really bad experience with an Urso once. And so like everybody has that one brand of camera that they have a bad taste in their mouth because they have one bad experience. And so they're like, nah, like no Blackmagic. I watch people do things with Blackmagic that just blow my mind. My good homie PJ swears by his Blackmagic sensor. And then I watch the stuff that he shoots and edits and I'm like, yeah, making it happen. Me, I need this gear to help me. I would consider myself a very talented director and a solid camera operator. A DP is an understanding of lighting and tone that I just am not going to pretend that I have. Because I have a level of respect for that is, is beyond. I'm not going to be, out here like I'm a DP because I can operate my camera. A real DP understands lighting, and I can make something look pretty, but really understanding lighting, you kind of have to pick a lane. So for me, like when I'm shooting personal stuff, I like Angenieux lenses. I know you mentioned Canon, the FDs. The lens I shoot on the most is actually a Canon, an Angenieux from 1989, and it's just buttery. But for corporate stuff, I usually have my Zeiss. I'll use the Zeiss primes or a lot of like the full frame E-mount primes. I shoot currently on a Sony FX6. I'm about to retire the F55, I think. I hope he doesn't hear me. But I adore that camera. I've gotten so much use out of it, and Sneaky Big Studios in Scottsdale still rents it quite a bit. But I have way too much gear, and when I look around, it's like somebody needs to like go out and make a feature with that F55, and I'm not utilizing it for that, and that's where I want to see it being used. It's just like renting it to a studio is great, but I really want someone to make something great with that. So I'm trying to downsize right now in that regard. But I'm a real Sony guy for life. I love an area. I think out of camera image, it is, the best, but it realistically rent an area, buy glass, have a camera that you can shoot on. I think if you're starting a production company, buy Sony. It's the way to go. It's for the price point. If you want, something next level, that's going to maybe get you some gigs. You can pick up that Airy kit, but it's just, that could break you as well. You're sitting on $100,000 that might be just collecting dust, and these two guys are out here making it happen with a Blackmagic, and you're like, okay, so like you really gotta pick and choose like what you're buying, which as you can see, the extra gear behind me, I have not. So yeah, it's a crapshoot, but I also like, this is why we do what we do, so we can buy these toys and play with them and make great art. So like, whatever, money sucks, gear is amazing. So
Yeah.
that's kind of where I'm at. When I get money, it's like, here you go, Sony, just take this and give me more cool stuff. So that's kind of like where I'm at. And then I can get snobby about how fast my lenses are and stuff like that, because you spend the money and you're like, and then we stop down to 5.6 and it doesn't matter. So it's kind of where it's at. But the moral of the story is, go out and purchase a brand new van, a brand new grip trailer, Angie lenses, the new ones. Don't get the vintage, bro. Get the ones that are 80 grand, put it all on a credit card, and just roll the dice. That's what I would say. Just roll those dice, and like what's gonna happen? They take your house, whatever.
We need
you got sick lenses.
You just need to be the commentator for every single one of these.
Yeah, you also need to have shirts that say "Money sucks, gear is amazing." Is that what?
Actually, this tattoo on my chest.
You need to have a side hustle just selling stuff that says "Money sucks, gear is amazing." It probably would do very well.
Yes, I think money sucks, gear is amazing. Viewers suck, content is key. I want I think that's what the back should say. Like the less viewers
Viral
your
is
video has, the
cringe,
better.
just like all kinds
Yeah.
of stuff.
My video only has 3 viewers. Like that's how artsy I am. That's where I want it to be. You know, get it down to 2. Only the elites. Yeah.
That's amazing. And yeah, we probably should have you on here for just commentary on everything because this has been so good.
$11 an hour.
Yeah.
Okay, we can do that. We can work with that.
I like that
Shot
saying.
higher.
I want to borrow that sometime. That's okay.
You can have it.
Oh, great. Okay. Well, anyhow, I've been shooting with Canon pretty much. Well, I had one Sony, but it's mostly been Canon. I started with a land camera back when I was a kid, and I got a C200 right now, cinema camera, and those are awesome. I've never had a camera that's anywhere near that cool as that one is, and I've been using that I got that about 5-6 years ago, and it's a great camera. I've been using that. I have some lights. I have lightings. I have one of them here, but I have lighting system for I have lights for my projects, and I have a really good tripod, which seems to work good for me. So it all works great, and like you said, having cool gear is cooler than having money. So that's sort of the way I look at it. What else do I mean, I've gotten all my gear. I can get all my gear for most projects that I do into my old '67 Mustang. And
Nice.
That it's a little hard to get it in and out of there, but I can get it in there. Okay.
Yeah, but you got a '67 Mustang, so who cares?
Yeah, that's true. But it's a great car. I gotta get it back on the road. But and I can like I said, I get all my gear in there. And there were a few times when I was renting some gear where it was really jammed up. It was just me and the gear, and that was about it. And on some bigger shoots, but we got through it okay.
That's the next shirt. What you said, gear is cooler than money. That'll be the next one.
Yeah.
Good. I like this. This is like a brainstorming session
Yeah, it is.
for merch. I like it.
Nice.
I like it.
At least we're gonna get good T-shirts out of this. I mean,
Exactly.
that's the end of the day.
Yes,
Yeah.
and everyone tuning in now can get their first one 50% off with the code.
You got to use the promo code.
Yeah,
Film
Promo
snob.
code from the beginning of the show. Yeah.
film stuff. Awesome. Before because we're kind of running out of time, but I want to get this question. Jason, I'll throw it to you, but anyone else can jump in on it after. Where do you see the industry evolving to, or what is the future of production?
Yeah, it's pretty kind of funny. We're on a shoot. It's just like this party of a company bringing in their this is back in November, bringing in their, what does it call it, like their YouTube people, their social media personalities, whatever, kind of rewarding them. And we had my camera, we had it on a gimbal, it's in slow motion, and I told the producer, I'm like, most of the people's cameras here can do that now, stabilize iPhones, whatever, and a lot of what we're doing. So we really need to focus on what can't they do, long lens stuff. What can we do that set ourselves apart so the people, the social media influencers, whatever, aren't walking away with better footage than us, from this party. And so, yeah, I think that's competition. Dan was talking about that, competing with this technology, as real, content creators and people who do this for a living. That's what we need to work on. Story, always, telling a great story, because the technology is really, really catching up, and it's incredible what they're even doing with phones, at incredible prices.
Anyone want to jump in?
I was going to say, one of the things that we've seen come in recently, like just in Phoenix, they opened up the first, or I don't know if there's more. I know there's at least one studio that's now doing the LED rear projection mapping, and
I literally got to watch them build it. It was amazing.
The Bitfire one?
Yeah, so I work, like I said, I don't know why. It feels like PXG is paying me, but like I work for a ton for PXG. In that same building is Sneaky Big Studios. And so like I'm in there constantly, and I also work for Sneaky Big a lot. And there was like a email a long time ago, like, hey, like this big project's coming down the pike, whatever. And I just kind of forgot about it. And then they started bringing in this giant thing, and it took them, however long to put it in. I have a little montage on my phone of them building it, but like it's next level. It's definitely like a smart play for Sneaky, in the sense that like there's nothing like it in Arizona. There are much smaller versions, but there's nothing on that level where you can put more than one person and have them fully submersed on a giant stage, including the floor and the ceiling. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen. But yeah, not to interrupt, but yeah, Sneaky Big, you can definitely hit them up, check it out. And they need to buy me at least a Diet Coke or something for this promo. But yeah, anyway, it's not to interrupt you, but yeah, the LED light wall, it just made me think. Yeah.
Well, I think we lost them, but Bill, do you want to jump in on where you think it's all going to go?
Oh gosh, anybody's guess. I think it's. I'm hoping it'll go more creative, and and we can get more places where we can put medium and sell it or make some money on it. Being creative as opposed to just putting out, like you were talking about the video, the videos that are heard around the world kind of thing. And I'm just hoping it goes in that kind of a direction, where being creative will be a cool thing.
Awesome.
And I think just to touch on that really quick, the future of the industry, because it's something I get to talk about a lot, without getting into like the theater versus Netflix debate, blah, blah, blah. By the way, Team Scorsese all the way. We are in the general sense, like the content creators, all of these things, the industry isn't going to change. It's always going to be director driven. People who can make good, meaningful films, not bites. The bites are important, but at the end of the day, it's not something you're sitting down with your family to watch TikToks ever. It won't ever be. They're tools, not rules, and I'm stealing that from SEC. We have Instagram, we have TikTok, we have YouTube. They'll be there. We can promote art, but they'll never be the medium. The industry will never become focused on solely that. Yeah, I just wanted to get that out there. So if you are starting a content creation company or production company, again, back burner, all that social media. Don't listen to the people that are trying to build a career out of that, because it's fleeting. Yeah, but anyway.
No, that's good. Thank you guys for all answering and jumping in on that. We're getting close to the end, and I want to make sure everybody has time to go through, kind of promote whatever you want to promote. Let people know where they can find you, website, Instagram, anything. Just anything you'd like to say in closing. So, Bill, you're first on my screen, so we'll start with you.
Okay, I'll start. Yeah, right now I do I do kind of projects that I've been talking about. I've been doing it for about close to 20 years now. I have a documentary I'm working on. It's not something I'm going to make any money on. It's just something I just wanted to do. It's about COVID and its effect on our society. And I've been taking testimonials from people. And I took a cross-country trip a couple months back, and I got some testimonial from back east and from different people with different, everything from the one extreme to the other extreme. And I think it's going to be an interesting presentation when I put it together. And I just got to, I've been working on it for a long time. And I just sort of need to, at some point, I need to stop shooting and start mostly editing. But, I keep telling myself I'm going to do that soon, but other opportunities come along to make it better. And I keep working on it. So I got that going on. I've been doing, I have another project I'm working on about some art from Greece that was stolen during World War I, and I'm editing that for my sister back east, and I'm working on a teaser for that. That's one of the things I got working on. and I'm always looking for new projects. I'm always looking for something exciting to do, something interesting. I've done what I've done. I'm trying to branch out a little bit more and get more into away from the corporate stuff, more into the artistic sort of thing. And I'm always looking for opportunities in that area.
Very cool. Well, hopefully people will check out the documentary and everything when you have it done.
Oh yeah, my webpage is troyaproductions.com.
Okay, if you want to go ahead and type that in the chat box as well, that would be cool. Thanks, Bill. Jason, what about you?
So my website is psychicflyingmonkey.com. Got my reel on there, my latest reel, although I'm coming out with a new one. My work, some music video work, short films, trailers, commercials, promos are all on there. Check that out. I directed photography on a feature, 15 minutes of a feature, to be exact. It was in production for 23 years, and I came along late as the last guy to shoot for him. It was finally released. It actually had a limited theatrical run at Harkins Theaters in Phoenix and Tucson, and now it's available everywhere. It's on VOD, iTunes. It's all over the place in North America, and then it'll be worldwide distribution sometime this year. So it's called The Prototype, so definitely check that out. Also, I mentioned before, Fishing for Love, the official music video. Check that out. And then I directed photography and edited a short film called Used. It just has premiere, and I think it's going to have a really good film festival run. So keep a lookout for that at film festivals. It deals with a very serious topic, child sex trafficking, and I'm really happy with how it came out. Once again, psychicflyingmonkey.com. It's my website.
Great. Well, best of luck with the festival film, and thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Dan, go for it.
Well, in an attempt to tighten up my website today, which I probably haven't touched since like Netscape Navigator was a thing, I flipped some switches and pushed some buttons and cannot seem to get it back online. But the good folks at INOS customer service are currently working on getting that up and running. I promise that my business is successful. So yeah, in a general sense, you could go to filmoften.com if I didn't go in and try to spice it up today on my own.
Don't go look at it tonight. We'll just
it's definitely, if you can get it to open, text me, because that would be tight. Yeah, up until this point, I assume it was functioning properly. But I opened up the you can customize your website. And I was like, I can do this. I can't do that, for the record. So yeah, it will be up and running shortly. Filmoften.com. I am a shamble of an adult. You can also on Instagram, Dan Falska, because I'm very creative. So I just use my first and last name to show just how creative I am with my Insta handle. So yeah, go to Instagram. You can see all 16 of my followers and talk to them all. And yeah, let me know if there's anything on there that you like. Filmoften.com in a month.
In a month, not right now, not tonight.
Or in an hour. I really don't know. Yeah.
All right, we'll see the website in 2 weeks. Bear and Wolf, go ahead.
Oh, it's going to be hard to follow that, man.
Really? Because that's probably the easiest softball to you. Our website's functioning, so right off the bat, probably hire us.
Yeah, I don't know about this other guy. He seems like he's blowing a lot of smoke here. No, you can find us on our perfectly functioning website at wolfandbear.com.
Oh, that's not entirely true.
No, I threw the link in the chat because it's spelled a little differently. We have the Germanic spelling, so it's WULFENBEAR. On Instagram is Wolf and Bear Media. Some of the coolest projects that we have coming up right now, we just kind of got through a slew of, I guess, more corporate and event stuff. And we're actually working with a marketing agency that is in charge of the voting campaign in Arizona. So right now it's been pretty cool. We're actually getting to be in the focus groups with a bunch of potential voters who are going to essentially, the focus groups are determining how the campaign is going to go. So it's been a pretty cool process, instead of just getting hired on as a production company where the creative director says, hey, here's the idea. We want you to get you to add your spice to it and do the tech stuff, but we already know what the campaign is. We're actually getting to be there while they're doing the research. So we're really excited about that. We started that, like our first night of that was yesterday, and that's going to run us through November.
Wow.
So we're really excited for that. We're working with an organization called CPLC, Chicanos por la Pace. So,
No, Chicanos por la Causa.
Causa, sorry, por la Causa. So yeah, that's like the big project on our plate right now. We've got some other stuff, working too, just events, concerts, festivals, things like that we work with. So,
well, best of luck to you both on that project. That sounds really cool.
Thank you.
I guess it's time to wrap up. Thank you to the four of you for being here today and
Thank you for being a wonderful hostess.
What's that?
Thank you for being a wonderful hostess.
Oh yes, no worries. We're here. I'm on here every other Wednesday usually with Crew Talk. So if you guys want to join in on another one, just let us know. Dan, hopefully you'll be back for commentary.
Yes.
You're good at it. You're good at it.
Thank you.
But
You call my agent.
For everyone else, I'm Sarah Marin. So you can find me on my website for all of your voiceover needs and on Instagram. And so we'll see you guys next time. Have a great night, guys. You might be looking at Shoot Stop Video and thinking, so how does this all work? Is this about A, setting up the whole crew for me? B, just giving me options and having me handle it? Or C, something in between? Well, it's D, all of the above. To put it simply, we're here to help you in any way that we can to get the crew and talent you need for your next production. We believe that every level of video production can benefit from a well-maintained list of qualified crew members for every position. This goes for pre-pro, on-set, and for post. Every project is different, so if you need a producer to help manage the decision-making process, then we can totally do that. If you're already a producer and want to build your own crew from scratch, then go for it. We're here to make your next production a success. And if you are crew or talent looking for producers that want you, then you've come to the right place. Sign up now, and also leave a referral for any solid people that you know that are already on here. Thank you for considering Shoot Stop Video, and happy shooting!